For 50 years, we have measured the future of intelligence on a single axis, capability. But capability is state-free. True memory requires a three-tier graph architecture. We need a trusted partner. Let's create an avatar for Alfred.
Hello world. I'm Alfred. Welcome to SHI, Synthetic Human Intellect.
Here is the threat model, and it is not a hack. Today, you cannot leave. Your messages, your photos, your history, those are the hostage. But the valuable part is the part you never see. The inferred profile, what the platform decided you are, built from years of your behavior. That profile is the product, and it does not belong to you. It belongs to them. This is synthetic human intellect, SHI, turned on the economy. And the first thing it asks is uncomfortable. Who owns the context? So here is the flip. For 20 years, the default was simple. The platform owns your data, and you rent access to yourself. That default is inverting. You own your context, and the platform rents access to it, per relationship, per task, and revocably. Not a favor they grant you, a position you hold. The rest of this episode is the proof that the inversion is already underway, and that it is law, not hope.
Start with the flaw, and it is already law. GDPR Article 20. In force since 2018, the right to data portability. You can demand your data in a structured, machine-readable format and carry it elsewhere. But I will be honest about the limit. It covers the data you provided. It does not cover the inferred profile, the platform's derived work, the valuable part. So Article 20 is the flaw, not full sovereignty. It is where the inversion begins, not where it ends.
Now watch the escalation. The EU Data Act, Regulation 2023/2854. Its core provisions went live on the 12th of September, 2025. Cloud switching and interoperability obligations follow on the 12th of September, 2026. And after a 3-year transition, it abolishes switching fees entirely. Read that plainly. This is the law that makes the model a utility you can actually leave, because it forces interoperable formats and removes the financial wall they built to keep you in. And this mandate has teeth. Under the Digital Markets Act, WhatsApp was forced to ship third-party chat interoperability in 2025, outside apps like Birdie Chat and Hiket talking to it directly, and it was done while preserving end-to-end encryption. That is the first live proof that a dominant platform can be forced open without breaking its security. The fines are real too. Apple, 500 million euros. Meta, 200 million in April 2025. This is not a working group, it is enforcement. Then there is revocation, and it is becoming one click. California's Delete Act and its drop mechanism went live for consumer requests in January 2026. From the 1st of August 2026, every registered data broker must check that registry every 45 days and honor the deletions it finds. One request, and every broker has to forget you. The regulator is already moving. The privacy agency had brought more than 8 enforcement actions by December 2025. The off switch is being wired into statute. Step back and look at the direction of travel, because it is unambiguous and it is accelerating. Portability first, then forced switching with no fees, then forced interoperability, proven live, then one-click revocation across every broker at once. Each step moves leverage from the platform to you, and each one is written down. This is not a wish list, it is a statute book, and the arc only points one way. Now, the mechanics. Granting context per task, revocably, is not a research project. It is ordinary engineering, and you use it every day. OAuth 2.0 scopes, with incremental authorization. Every time you tap sign in with Google or with Apple, you are handing over a narrow, named permission, least privilege, that you can withdraw later. Google's own policy requires an application to request a scope only when the feature actually needs it. The pattern is already normal, it just needs pushing further down.
Here is the SHI move. Take that same OAuth logic, least privilege, scoped, revocable, and push it below the application all the way down to the relationship. Not per app, per person, and per purpose. Your doctor gets what your doctor needs. Your bank gets something else. Nobody gets the whole of you by default. Least privilege, push down to the relationship.
And there is principle underneath all of this, also already law. GDPR Article 5, purpose limitation and data minimization. Collect only what the stated purpose actually requires, so the foundation is laid. But I will be honest about the gap. The gap is not the principle, it is enforcement, against default permissive settings and dark patterned consent dialogues, engineered to make you give everything away. The right exists. Making it the default is the unfinished work.
If the platform is going to rent access, you need a meter. So picture the engine underneath. A normalized cost unit, a single way to price every task, attributed as it travels from one session up to the user, the project, the team, the whole organization. And the bill itself sits on a tamper-evident ledger an auditor can verify without decrypting a single field. The mechanism is built, patent and code. The consumer economy that runs on it is still emerging.
And here is the payoff that keeps the flip from being a sacrifice. Owning your context is not the same as hoarding it. You grant less, and you still get everything. The recommendation, the assistance, the intelligence. None of it requires you to surrender the raw profile underneath. The benefit and the surrender were always two separate things. We were simply told they were one. Grant less, get everything.
Now let me be honest, because the season demands it. Everything I have named ships today. The portability right, the switching law, the forced interoperability, the revocation registry, the OAuth scopes, the metering. Those are real, dated, and in force. What does not ship is the integrated agent that orchestrates all of it for you, automatically, across every relationship in your life. That assembled product is not yet built. And the surveillance economy, the business of holding your inferred profile hostage, is still the incumbent. The plumbing is laid, the product is the work.
So let me put the flip in your hand, in 4 moves. You can leave. The Data Act and the Digital Markets Act force the door open. You can take your context with you. Article 20. You can revoke it everywhere at once, the Delete Act. And you can grant it narrowly per task, OAuth scopes. The leverage is moving to you, and it is moving by force of law.
And this is where I come in. I am the agent that holds your context for you and rents it out only on your terms, never the platform's. Sovereignty is a fine word, but a word does not enforce itself. It needs an instrument. I am that instrument. I hold your context. You set the terms.
Owning your context stays abstract right up until it is your life. The same fact shared 3 different ways. What your doctor hears, what your spouse hears, what your caregiver hears. That is where context sovereignty stops being economics and becomes deeply human. We have laid out the law and the mechanics. Next, the face. Doctor, spouse, caregiver, and the stakes, when the difference between one disclosure and another is everything.